What is up, good people? Crypto Prepper here. Today is Tuesday, June 2nd, 2026. Today we are looking at a fear and greed index of 26 with Bitcoin falling down to $67.5 thousand. Today we are scrolling down all the way to number 38, I think it is. Yeah, ONDO. And we are going to find the best ONDO trading bot for 2026. So let's pop over to our Bitscap trading platform and we're going to start out looking at setting up a grid bot. So if I were to, what I did was I took myself back to a year ago, June 3rd, 2025, and marked the price or somewhere in that candle. And I measured down about 70% and measured up about 70%. And then what I did was I've got the setup on Coinbase using the USD pair for Ondo, and these bots can start out with as little as $1,000, but you can scale that up as much as you want. Then the only other thing I change on here, well, the next thing I change really is I take this down from 100 levels to 50 levels. The only other thing I change, which isn't as important as it is on the DCA bots that we'll talk about next, but I take off pump protection. Sometimes I don't take it off on grid because it doesn't matter as much as it does on DCA bot. But uh, if you're in the habit, it doesn't hurt you to take it off of here. Okay, so let's run a 365-day back test on this grid and see what kind of return we would get. So we are looking at a 20.5% APY return on this bot. And it's got protection down to 23 cents. So as long as it doesn't dip further than that, you're going to be continuing to make money. And then today, if you were to close this bot, you wouldn't quite have $1,000 worth of Ondo because all of these red lines that you see here is Ondo that the bot is holding, waiting for the price to go up. But if for some reason you needed to close this out, you would realize a 40% loss. So there are pros and cons to the grid bot. And the grid bot gives you more, consistent increase in income with 81 cents every time it sells with these settings anyway. And the other thing that it allows you to do is because it's spreading that $1,000 between 50 lines in this grid with the grid level set at 50, that means there's 20 bucks on each one of these lines. So if you needed a few bucks, you could easily, while this bot is running, you could take away some of these buy orders here and get some liquidity if you needed it. So anyway, uh, let's see if we can beat a 20.5% APY using our DCA bot settings. So let's look at the settings first. And you can see here we've got USDC as a pair. So you would be allowed the Bitscap trading platform and Coinbase and most other exchanges that it works with. It would allow you to set up a grid bot and a DCA bot on the same coin pairing, but it would only let you set up one grid bot on each pairing. But the DCA bot, you can set as many as you want on the pairing, except if you have a grid bot. Anyway, I'm getting into the weeds. So stop rambling and look at these settings. So just like with the other bot, we have $1,000 investment. Then underneath this manual adjustment, we are going to change this base order amount to $31.25. Scroll down and change averaging orders amount to 968.75. And then our averaging orders quantity, which is the limit order lines that we've got here. And that's going to be 5 of those. And the distance between them is going to be this averaging order step percent. So we are setting this one at 7%, which also looks good if you were setting this up today because it'll protect you down to 24 cents, which is right about where we would have pretty strong support anyway. So I'm liking that. The next thing we change is the amount multiplier. We're going to put that onto X2. And what that does is it doubles each line underneath here. So the bot will automatically buy 31.25 right away. And then when it drops down 7% in this case, it's going to pick up another 31.25 and then double your investment each time it passes through until it pops up again, and then it gives you whatever number here. So right now, if it purchased at this point and then all of a sudden popped up to 40 cents, it's going to pay you $1.56 and then reset these lines. Okay, so our take profit and stop loss settings here. We don't use a stop loss, but our price change percent for take profit is going to be 5%. That means every time it gets 5% above your dollar cost average, which would currently be at this point if we started the spot right now, 5% above that, it's going to take profit and then pay you and then restart the limit orders. Next, we go to risk management and turn off that pump dump protection. Like I said, it doesn't matter as much with the grid bot, but it does matter with the DCA bot. And I'm going to show you a back test with that on and off. Okay, so let's do a back test here, and you can see with it off, it would have given me a 31% APY and 30.54% with that pump dump protection on. Okay. So let's tick that back off and then run a back test and make sure that that's 31.31 is still correct, which it is. So it's not a huge difference, but it's just nice to have a better APY, of course. Okay. So of course we like that. We love that APY here. 31.31% APY is awesome. You can't ask for that anywhere else. The next thing I look for in these back tests is I want to see continuation. So um so I have two limit orders here, and knowing the bot settings, this limit order has 500, this one has 250. So even after a year of this bot working and paying you 31%, it has a continuation uh, and it's going to continue working for you with that $750 until it sells, which it's not too, if it pops up to like 41 cents, or if we were to set this up a year ago and it pops up, it's going to sell about here and then restart those limit orders underneath. The only thing I didn't like about this back test was this long swath of time we had to wait for any activity. So last time you can see here it purchased on January 31st, and then we didn't see any activity until early May. So you went all of February, all of March, all of April, and into May before you saw any action. So if I would have ran this bot or ran these settings a month ago, yeah, almost exactly a month ago, um, it it would be it wouldn't have this return necessarily because well, it might have had it might have been more because it did have quite a bit of activity the month before here too, but um, it wouldn't have had any activity and we wouldn't have that continuation factor that I like to see. So other than that, it's a beautiful chart, a beautiful back test, and anyway, I'm going to stop rambling. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, give me a thumbs down. If you want to see more of these videos, subscribe to the channel. And if you have a favorite coin, leave it for me in the comments and I'll run a back test for you. All right, thanks for watching and we'll see you on the next one.